When she died?
About 2 years ago. She left me the house. When I was 12, my mama committed suicide.
Unveiled in 1993, Poetic Justice captivated audiences with its raw narrative, heartfelt emotion, and iconic performances by Janet Jackson and Tupac Shakur. Yet, what was the shocking, unfiltered scene that nearly led to the film's ban? And why did it ignite such fierce controversy? From daring creative choices and unapologetic storytelling to public outrage and hidden tensions, here's the untold saga of the provocative moment that almost kept Poetic Justice from ever reaching the silver screen. The genesis of Poetic Justice. In the early 1990s, director John Singleton was still basking in the acclaim of his groundbreaking debut, Boys and the Hood. That film shone a light on young black men in South Central Los Angeles, but Singleton saw a gap in the narrative landscape. The voices of young black women in those same neighborhoods were largely unheard. This realization sparked the creation of Poetic Justice. Released on July 23, 1993, Poetic Justice was more than a love story. It was Singleton's bold effort to amplify the experiences of African American women, rarely centered in Hollywood at the time. In a 2013 Essence interview, Singleton reflected on how uncommon it was, in 1993, to see a black woman lead a major film. This inspired him to craft Justice, a reserved, poetic young woman navigating grief and healing in South Central. Justice wasn't just a character. She was a reflection of real women often overlooked by mainstream media. She wasn't bold or brash, but introspective, mourning, and relatable. The poetry she recited, penned by the legendary Maya Angelou, infused the film with authenticity and emotional weight, giving Justice a voice that resonated deeply with audiences. Casting proved a challenge. Singleton had a distinct vision for Justice. Though talents like Jada Pinkett, Lisa Bonet, and Monica Calhoun auditioned, he knew from the start that Janet Jackson was the one. A global pop icon, Jackson embodied the quiet resilience and vulnerability Singleton envisioned. Her look in the film, those iconic box braids, became a cultural phenomenon. Singleton later shared that the hairstyle was a collaborative effort involving Jackson, choreographer Fatima Robinson, and dancer Jossie Harris, who had sported the style in Michael Jackson's Remember the Time video. Singleton adapted the Harlem-inspired look for a West Coast vibe, creating a style that would inspire generations. Finding the right actor for Lucky, the postal worker with dreams of music, was trickier. Singleton first approached Ice Cube, but he declined, not ready for a romantic role. The part ultimately went to Tupac Shakur, rapper, poet, and rising star. Tupac brought raw intensity and authenticity, and his chemistry with Jackson became a cornerstone of the film's allure. The story follows Justice, a South Central hairdresser grieving her boyfriend Markel's death. She lives quietly, finding solace in her cat and her poetry, voiced through Angelou's words.
Where water is not thirsty and bread loaf is not stone. I came up with one thing, and I don't believe I'm wrong. That nobody can make it out here alone.
An unexpected road trip to Oakland with her friend Iesha and two postal workers, including Lucky, played by Tupac, pulls her out of her shell. Initially, Justice and Lucky butt heads, but their shared journey reveals their scars. Lucky, too, carries pain, raising his daughter alone after rescuing her from an unstable home. The film weaves a tapestry of trauma, connection, and healing. From a family reunion to a carnival and a quiet beach moment, Justice and Lucky slowly unravel each other's stories. Their bond deepens, though not without friction. Critics were split on the film's pacing and tone, but Poetic Justice carved out a lasting legacy. It proved Black cinema could tell love stories grounded in real pain and growth, launching Janet Jackson's acting career and solidifying Tupac's as a serious performer. Acclaim and critical response. Poetic Justice garnered mixed reviews upon release, but its cultural impact, box office success, and award nods cemented its place as a defining romantic drama of the 1990s. Financially, the film soared. It debuted at #1 at the U.S. box office, raking in $11.7 million during its opening weekend. Against a $14 million budget, it grossed $27.5 million domestically, ranking as the 20th highest opening film of 1993 and the 21st highest grossing R-rated film that year. While some critics questioned its rhythm and style, audiences embraced it. CinemaScore gave it a solid B+, reflecting its resonance with moviegoers. Janet Jackson and Tupac Shakur were widely praised for anchoring the film's emotional heart. Roger Ebert offered a thoughtful take, noting that Poetic Justice wasn't aiming to replicate Boys in the Hood. He called it a road movie, where characters find themselves through their journey, highlighting a poignant barbecue scene that captured a sense of community and longing for family. Other critics were less convinced. Variety's Leonard Clady praised Singleton's depiction of South Central, but felt the story occasionally lost its way for those unfamiliar with its cultural nuances. Rolling Stone's Peter Travers admired Singleton's ambition, but found the film weighed down by preachy detours. The New York Times' Vincent Canby saw flashes of brilliance in the dialogue and cultural insight, but felt the film fell short of its lofty aims. Despite mixed reviews, the film earned significant recognition. Janet Jackson shone, winning Best Female Performance and Most Desirable Female at the 1994 MTV Movie Awards, a remarkable feat for her first major role. Her contribution to the soundtrack, The Soulful Again, co-written with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, became a cultural touchstone. The song earned an Oscar nomination for Best Original Song and a Golden Globe nod in the same category. It later won the 1995 ASCAP Award for Most Performed Song from a Motion Picture, underscoring the film's reach beyond the screen. Both Jackson and Tupac earned 1994 NAACP Image Award nominations, Jackson for Outstanding Lead Actress and Tupac for Outstanding Actor. These nods highlighted the film's significance within the Black community. However, not all accolades were positive. Jackson was controversially nominated for a Razzie for Worst Actress and won Worst New Star, a decision now widely seen as unjust. Over time, her portrayal of grief and strength has been reappraised with greater respect. In 2022, the film's legacy was honored when Singleton received a Black Movie Award for Classic Cinema Hall of Fame. Reflecting on the project, Singleton called it a lighter, more joyful experience than Boys and the Hood. He aimed to tell a personal romantic tale with friends like Jackson and Tupac, not to preach. Ultimately, Poetic Justice remains a landmark. It wove poetry, pain, and love into a narrative that still echoes, its awards reflecting both its triumphs and the challenges it faced. Chaos at the Poetic Justice premiere. The July 1993 release of Poetic Justice was meant to be a triumphant moment for Black cinema. Instead, it was marred by shocking violence in multiple cities, including a fatal shooting, casting a shadow over its debut. 5 incidents were reported during the opening weekend at or near screenings. These ranged from brawls to gunfire, sparking heated debates about movie violence, racial prejudice in the theater industry, and the responsibilities of cinema chains. Just days before the release, Cineplex Odeon's Universal City Multiplex in Los Angeles refused to screen the film, citing fears of violence. The decision drew fierce criticism, with Los Angeles City Councilwoman Rita Walters labeling it racist and leading a council condemnation. Cineplex relented 5 days later, but the controversy had already escalated. In Las Vegas, tragedy struck on opening night. Lieutenant Carl Fruge of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police reported a fatal shooting outside Cinedome Theaters on July 23rd. A 21-year-old black man was killed in his car as crowds spilled into the parking lot post-screening. Fruge noted no issues occurred inside the theater, but the chaotic aftermath saw people fleeing in panic, with no witnesses remaining when police arrived. While the crime's link to the film was unclear, its timing raised alarm. In Knoxville, Tennessee, a non-fatal shooting occurred after a 9:45 p.m. screening at East Town Mall Cinema 7. A 19-year-old white man was shot in the leg, though witnesses reported no issues during the screening itself. The motive remained under investigation. Other cities saw unrest too. In Chicago, a fight broke out inside Cineplex Odeon's Burnham Plaza, leading to 79 ticket refunds. In Joliet, Illinois, Cinemark theaters canceled late-night showings after a brawl erupted post-screening, rescheduling the last show to 6:20 p.m. In Philadelphia, multiple disturbances were reported at United Artists' 69th Street Cinema, though details remained sparse. The incidents fueled intense media scrutiny and amplified discussions about the film. Columbia Pictures, the film studio, stayed silent, and Singleton was unavailable for comment. Cineplex's Alan Karp defended their initial hesitation, referencing violence tied to Boys in the Hood's 1991 release. The question lingered: were these events sparked by the film, or were they unrelated tensions erupting at screenings? Police in Las Vegas and Knoxville emphasized no incidents occurred inside theaters, and the film's content didn't appear to incite violence. Still, the damage was done. A story of love and healing became entangled in fear, bias, and sensationalism. Behind-the-scenes revelations. Poetic Justice wasn't just a film, it was a cultural milestone. While the screen showcased Janet Jackson and Tupac Shakur's electric love story, the real drama unfolded off-camera. A persistent rumor claimed Janet Jackson asked Tupac to take an AIDS test before their kissing scene. Q-Tip confirmed the story, but Singleton later clarified it was a playful jab. He and Tupac were jokingly flirting with Jackson on set, and Singleton teased Tupac about needing a test. Tupac, unamused, refused, noting others had filmed love scenes with Jackson without such a request. Another poignant moment involved Maya Angelou. She noticed Tupac arguing on set and, unaware of his fame, pulled him aside. She gently asked when someone last told him he was enough, invoking his ancestors' resilience. Tupac, overwhelmed, broke down in tears. Angelou only learned his identity later from Jackson. Tragedy also touched the set. Lloyd Avery II, who had minor roles in Poetic Justice and Boys and the Hood, was later convicted of a double murder and killed in prison in 2005. Dedrick D. Gobert, another actor in both films, was fatally shot in 1994 after a dispute at an illegal drag race. The film's legacy endured. Kendrick Lamar's 2012 song Poetic Justice sampled Jackson's music, though his request for her to appear in the video went unanswered. The Tupac biopic, All Eyes on Me, oddly omitted the film, a choice Singleton, who left the project over creative differences, criticized for missing Tupac's cultural weight. Even a young Usher made his mark, recording Call Me a Mac at 14 for the soundtrack, his first major musical step. Behind the scenes, Poetic Justice was a mix of tension, inspiration, and tragedy, mirroring the story it told. Where are they now? After Poetic Justice's 1993 release, its cast took divergent paths, some soaring, others fading, but all left an indelible mark. Here's where they stand today. Janet Jackson, as Justice, portrayed a grieving young woman with quiet strength. Post-film, she returned to music, earning 5 Grammys and releasing chart-topping albums. Acting remained a passion, with roles in Nutty Professor 2, The Klumps, and Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married? Films. In 2017, she embraced motherhood. Tupac Shakur, as Lucky, brought depth to the role, building on his Juice fame. His hip-hop career exploded with hits like Dear Mama and California Love, blending social commentary with personal tales. Tragically, Tupac was killed in a 1996 Las Vegas drive-by at 25. His unsolved case was recently reopened. Regina King as the fiery Aisha sparked the road trip that drove the plot. Already known from 227, her career skyrocketed with roles in Jerry Maguire and If Beale Street Could Talk, earning her an Oscar and Golden Globe. She's won 4 Emmys for American Crime, 7 Seconds, and Watchmen, and directed One Night in Miami in 2020, earning a Directors Guild nod. Q-Tip, as Justice's doomed boyfriend, had a brief but impactful role. A Tribe Called Quest's founding member, he explored acting in Prison Song but stayed rooted in music, collaborating with Jackson on Got Till It's Gone and continuing solo work. Tyra Farrell, as salon owner Jessie, supported Justice's journey. Known for Boys and the Hood and Jungle Fever, she continued acting but gradually stepped back. Her 90s roles remain iconic in Black cinema. Each cast member shaped Poetic Justice's enduring legacy, their paths reflecting the film's blend of triumph, tragedy, and resilience.